Hello, everyone, and welcome to the smartsocial.com podcast for American Dream University awesome veterans like you. Today, we have an incredible guest here today, and today our one goal is to help you, a veteran, a spouse of a veteran, or anyone in that type of community to shine online. That's why we're doing this here today. We're going to look at my guest's LinkedIn here today, and we're going to give you some tactics and tips. We're going to do what I call following the yellow brick road, if you will. And along the way, we're going to just talk about the different features and all these different things. I am forever grateful for your service, and I'm honored to get the chance to do what I do, which is teach people not only how to be safe on social media, but also how to shine online. And we're going to do it in a fun way, the only way I know, which is with enthusiasm. All right, Mr. James Wall, it's such an honor to have you here today. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
So James, I am going to share my screen right now, and we are going to take a look at your LinkedIn profile. Look at this handsome guy right here. Now, we're taking a look at your LinkedIn profile, and my one goal is to follow a few of our points. Now, anybody who's watching this right now, I made a light LinkedIn checklist. It could go on and on forever, but I am a tactical and practical person. My father was in the Army, and I feel like I absorbed that. We have to get stuff done. So I made a small little tiny checklist for you that I'm happy to send to you, James, and anyone who's watching this. We're going to go over your photo, your header image, your headline, the about section, just a few little areas here. I first want to show you my LinkedIn. Not that it's perfect. In fact, we found something wrong with it this morning. There is never the perfect LinkedIn. There's the LinkedIn that lets you authentically show who you are and what you do. And that's what we're going to talk about here today. So my name is Josh Ochs. You'll notice I have a weird last name, James. So if you click this little tiny thing, it pronounces your last name, Josh Ochs. That way people know it's cool. Josh Ochs. And that's a little tiny feature built into the back. If anybody watching this right now has a unique last name like mine, that's a fun feature. I've also seen people, James, put a whole sentence or two in there. Hey, I'm James Wall. I'm a veteran. I do this, and this is how you pronounce my name. You can have a lot of fun with that. So we're going to use every tool we have available today. Now, notice how I could say I teach students, parents, and professionals how to shine online. I did we because it's more about the us. I have a small crew of people in Los Angeles, but I could change it to we or us. And it's more about what we do and how we help others. I have a clear version of my face smiling just like yours. It's great. I've got a header image up here, and anybody that, if you do the default one, that's okay too, but do something that's all about what you do. And in this case, pre-COVID, I used to travel the country speaking to 30,000 students a year, teaching them exactly what I'm showing you right now, how to shine online and also how to be safe at the same time. So we're going to get rid of this little area, stand out with recruiter searches and all these other things. I'm just going to, I want you to see my About Us page. And I walk people through a little bit of an overview of an About Us page. My background is at Walt Disney Studios in brand marketing, and I just walk you through a few different things. I have a few books online and so on. And then we're going to take a look at your featured area. And I think this is important, James, because every time you post on LinkedIn, you can then tag it in your featured area. You can click this little tiny thing that keeps it up here. I was on the news, James, I want to say a month ago, about something bad on TikTok that happened, and Channel 5 in Los Angeles said, will you be on the news? They gave me 6 minutes of airtime on the news in this chair to millions of people. So I featured it on there. And then all these other little things, and I'll show you how to add things to that. They should all have a picture, clickable, like let's go click on that first one, right? You click here and it highlights the video and everything else, right? So it's clickable. And James, we want you to shine online with all the projects you're doing, and the featured area is a great place to do that. Then we've got our dashboard, and this is where you'll be able to see only your stuff. No one else can see this. It's private to me. Our activity, we'll talk about that. And then the experience, your different jobs and stuff. And I have volunteer, and I even ran for city council a few years ago, which put me on the map, and then all this other stuff. So let's go take a look at yours. Any questions before we get started?
Nope, that was awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So you got a great photo. Here's what I like about it. I'm going to be very complimentary. It's smiling, it's you, it's clear, it's great, and it's easy to see. Also, I love your header shot, header image up here, leadership, influence, relationships. Love that. And I also love that you're saying, I help people find work, job search expert, a top 100 speaker, leader, master trainer, master life coach, highly motivated. And I really like where you're going with this. You might also consider, I like that. Let's come back to that. You've also got your city and your state, which is amazing. And you always want everybody who's watching this right now. And I know what a lot of people are thinking because I've spoken to so many people over the years, and it's not because I'm important. It's because I'm so passionate about this. A lot of people will go, Josh, LinkedIn's exhausting for me. I get these emails all the time. I don't have time for this. I don't want to connect with all these people. You actually want to, everybody who's watching this, you want to be like James. You want to have over 500 connections for a few reasons. If you have 100, it'll show 100 here. As soon as you hit 500, that maxes out on the display. And then it shows this person's serious about their LinkedIn footprint. And it doesn't mean you're giving away all your data on LinkedIn. It just means you're really connecting with people. And the neat thing about connecting on LinkedIn is that people will change companies and email addresses, but their LinkedIn will always be updated. So you can always message them inside of LinkedIn. Just like, in fact, if I were to try and message you, James, there's a message button. I could send you a message. Now, top skill, I could rate you for one of the top skills, which is great, right? I'm going to close this out for just right now. Highlights, we have 22 mutual connections. And the neat part of having over 500 connections is you're going to have mutual connections with somebody else. I could message you to get coffee. Let's look through a few of these. We have a mutual group. We're going to talk about groups in a sec. And then you attended some online events on AI and stuff. So let's go, before we get too far, let's go back to our checklist. The first thing we covered was your clear photo. You get an A on that. That's awesome. Your header image, you get an A as well. That's really good. Your headline, you get an A. For everyone watching this, you don't have to be a speaker or a master or anything. You can just say IT professional. You could say small business. You could say I support veterans, whatever that is, make it clear. Get right to the point and let people know what you do. Okay, now we're going to talk about the about section here really quickly. So let's jump over to your about section. And I love how you wrote this. I read a majority of it. One of the scariest things I'd overcome. And I want you to feel, like you've done right here. Make sure, to all of our other veterans watching this right now, make sure you have this filled out. This is your cover letter. And as people want to get to know you, they're going to see that face, they're going to see that name, they're going to see your headline right here, and they might want to learn more about you. And if you want to get a job, this is your cover letter. If you want to start your own business and get partnerships, this is your cover letter for that. We all are selling. A, B, C, right? Always be closing. Even if you're like me and you run a foundation that helps people, or if you're helping students, we're always pitching ourselves on why people need to have our product, our service, and everything else. Are we good so far, James?
Yes, we are. Thanks.
All right, great. Now we get down to your featured area. This is an area for improvement, James, right? You notice how your feature area is a little bit different than mine. Not that I'm perfect, definitely far from perfect. Ask everybody in my life, but let's go back up to this featured area. This is an opportunity, this will take you 3 minutes to do. We're going to compare you to mine right now. Okay, you can see how mine is very visual. And this will be 3 minutes for you of an opportunity to add an image in there.
Okay.
Or to post things. And I want you to consider once a week, once a month, posting on LinkedIn. Okay. Now, what does that post look like? Well, here's what I did. When I posted on the right-hand side, this video, all I did, and we're going to make this full screen. When I posted, all I went to the front screen and see how it says share a post. I shared a video. You could do a video, a photo, a job, write an article. This is all great stuff, helping people with whatever you're good at. You could even say, I have a new daughter or grandchild or anybody else, or whatever is exciting about your life. And as you start that post and you post it, I'm not as big on hashtags. You could add them. I'm not as big on them. I think they're really good for robots and stuff. I tell people, be a real person first, because that's who follows you. That's who you connect with. There's no secret architecture on, oh, I'm going to hack the system. Be a genuinely value-added human being. And guess what? That's what makes a difference over a decade. And I'm in it for the long haul with you. So you can celebrate an occasion, find an expert, offer help, share that you're hiring, create a poll. You can add your little image here, a video, and everything else. Now, when I did this, when I posted there, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back to my post. There's 3 dots up here. Look at all these people that featured this. There's 3 dots right here. And I was able to add that to featured. If you right now, I could remove it from featured, but your original post will not be deleted. But when I could, obviously it's already featured. So it would say add to featured. And when you do that, it's going to add it to your site. So what I want you to consider doing, your homework, James, is to post something. It doesn't have to be you on the news. It could be this video. It could be this video that I share on LinkedIn, anywhere, and then feature this. Hey, I got the opportunity to up my game on LinkedIn, and I'm excited to help other veterans as they watch this video to learn, and so on, right? You get the idea. So that's your chance to feature it, and it will automatically, my friend, be shared right in here with a little video or something like that. Now I clicked on yours here. We're going to do that. And is this your organization?
Yes, it is.
Amazing. Clock in with confidence, get personalized employment solutions. Amazing. So you've got some cool things right here that we could take a look at. There's probably all kinds of, it's a great looking website. More than 1,000 Oklahomans are back to work earning more than $10 an hour thanks to Work Ready Oklahoma. I love it. So you could feature a few of these things here, or maybe even any type of your blog posts, anything here. There's all kinds of opportunities. But some of these should probably be in there. And when you reshare it, let's see if we can go do that here real quick. When you reshare it, you'll have the opportunity to feature things. Let me go back over to mine. Now, for those of you watching this, like, how do I navigate so quickly? Let's take a quick pause. Let's go to how do you navigate? You go to linkedin.com and you just click the logo in the top left, and you're going to notice the feed. It takes you to the feed. Why does it take us to the feed? It wants us to start watching videos. It wants us to start getting hooked on all this stuff. Now, what I want you to do is to click on your headshot in the upper left, and that's going to be your opportunity to then go edit your own stuff. Okay. So we're going to go back over to yours. You're going to have the chance to edit, add a few featured things. I want you to edit positive projects, people who you've interviewed or taken from no job to a job, right? Or resumes or whatever you're doing. Do you have any hobbies?
I do golf and
Fantastic.
biking right now.
Fantastic. Okay, golf. And we need to put that on here too, because that's something kind of fun. It makes you real, right? So let's come back to this. Everybody, I want you to take a look at, so we talked about the about in the intros, the about section. Add featured posts with an image or video. If you have a video, it comes up as an image. And then when you post, you're going to click feature this post in those 3 little dots that we talked about. Okay. And that's one of your tricks, is not only you're feeding everybody in the feed, which we talked about, that's what they want. They want feed stuff, but you're also featuring in your post so people can see it. Because once you post, here's a little trick no one talks about. Once you post here, it's kind of gone forever. And it's kind of hard to figure out, where did I post that, right? There's all these things. It's a little confusing. You can see posts and activity. It's kind of hard to find. If I went to your page, it's like, what? Now I posted 9 hours ago about YouTube, what parents need to know. And I'm going to go up here. This is a pretty cool little video that we made and our team. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to feature it on the top of my profile. Okay. Boink. Now, when I go back to my profile in a second, you're going to see it. But also there's other options here. You can edit the post. You can embed it somewhere else in your website if you wanted to. Copy a link to it to send it to a friend. Delete it. Change who can comment, who can see it, and so on. Let's go back to Josh's profile. Let's go back down to here and look at that. It ends up there. Great place to showcase the projects you're working on. Okay. Now,
Sweet.
Let's go dive over onto the next thing. Now, know that everything we do, James, and I know you know this because you teach people how to get that job, everything we comment or like on may show up in our activity area. So I want everyone watching this to understand that everything we do online leaves a little bit of a footprint. No, I'm not going to say that the world's out to get us. I'm an optimist, but I want you to know that when you're adding value to others in a positive way, know that everything that you're doing, be proud of that getting discovered by others, and get discovered doing good things. Oh, I had no idea you were that into golf and that you help teach other students how to golf, or you take people golfing, or you, whatever that is. When you get discovered golfing and you're doing great things with friends, amazing. And we want people to discover, gone are the days where we have a private life. Everybody is a little bit public these days. So understand that in your activity, all these good things can come through, right? Congratulations, you commented, you shared this, right? I just want to let you know how much you mean to the rest of the world, or whatever you wrote there. I just put the word world in there. Seeing this post made me smile and gives us hope. What's truly inspiring message of wisdom, right? You commented. So you've got great things going on, but be aware, and you have 13,000 followers. You've got a really good network there. That's fantastic. And it's not about quantity. Everybody else watching this, I've only got 175. It's not about quantity. James has worked hard to take everybody who's in his phone and over the years connect with them. James reached out to me to say, hey, great video, yada, yada, yada. And then we ended up connecting and doing this. So great job. All right. Now let's talk about the experience. Let's go back to our little tiny, let's go back, and we're going to change first job to experience. Okay. Now, the first line is what the company does in less than 2 seconds. We're going to take a look at one of mine. Then add what you did at the company, then maybe an award or testimonial, and make sure it has an image of the company. So let's go down on the other screen. I'm going to go down when I was an intern at Disney. Let's go back over to here, assistant brand marketing, the Walt Disney Company. And what we're going to do is see more here. And I'm just going to walk you through how I think this works when it comes to pitching you. Anyone watching this, we're all doing the same thing. You're either trying to get a job or get clients, and they're the same thing. I interview every day. So does James. We're always interviewing and helping others. So if you didn't know who Disney was, this gives you a good example. What did you do there? Assistant brand marketing associate, essentially an intern, but that's what they called me. The Walt Disney Company, it has a logo. I tied it to the real company that I worked at. Now, what is Disney? Well, Disney is the largest media and entertainment conglomerate in the world with revenues of $36.1 billion. This is a little outdated. They're actually worth a lot more now. I need to update this, And Disney and Buena Vista Home Entertainment, the division I was in, was a wonderful experience for me. I did this, 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 and this, and I walk you through what I did. And then I got a letter of recommendation from one of my bosses. And here's an excerpt from my boss at Disney. Josh is eager, persistent, positive, and well, people just like him. Even now, and I went into that. So if you want to learn what I did, what the company does, what I did, and what people say about me, this is a good opportunity. James, another idea. Hey, we worked on a project here, and here's some bullet points from it, or whatever that is. You get all kinds of opportunity to tell a story here. And remember, there are humans reading it. It is not a bot, right? And people who are watching this going, I'm going to gamify this with hashtags. No, real people are going to read this. Let's be helpful. Let's be positive, and let's be supportive. Okay. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to go take a look at yours, James. You've got lead master trainer. Amazing. Public strategies, full-time, May 2020 present. Awesome. 11 months. And it has the city name. Now, this is an opportunity. Great. The lead master trainer will continue the mastery of the concepts for. Now, what I would tell you to do is maybe break this up into 3 little chunks here, right? What does lead master trainer do? It's called public strategies. It's the name of the company. So I would put the first line in one sentence. Public strategies is a company that delivers X, Y, and Z based out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and yada, 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 yada. Boom. Okay, great. Now I know what this company does. Now tell me about what James does in there. Next line, just like me, right? This was a wonderful experience. I'm so honored to get the chance to do all these things at this company. And then if you want to dive into more stuff or whatever, you get free reign to put whatever you want down there as well. But it's little bite-sized chunks for a real human to see. Does that sound fair, James?
Man, that's an excellent idea, man. I never thought of that. And it's so powerful too. So yeah. I see the value in that big time.
We're real people, and that handsome face. Now we're getting to know this guy up here. It's a real person and all about you. Okay. Now, same type of thing down here. A little bit more. How does this one differentiate from the first one? I got my, this organization does this. Here's what I did here and so on. Job training master coach. You get your one line there because that's what they're going to see. If it's if it's not completed. So you're going to get about this much. Let's say it's about this much to really wow them. Hey, this organization does this. Because a lot of the people listening to this right now, there are only 100 companies, maybe a couple more that we all know about. Coca-Cola, Google, Disney, a bunch of them. And those are neat, but we don't have to work there to do great work. So tell us what you do. And that could be some of the people watching this right now. Like, for instance, American Dream University. Tell us what that organization does if you do volunteer there or work there, or any sort of that. Now, job training master coach, phase 2 job coach. Amazing. Let's go take a look at a few more experiences. Director of knowledge management. Fantastic. This is a great opportunity. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit. I served as the senior knowledge manager to the Air Defense Artillery Commandment and the Fire Center of Excellence. This is amazing. You have such a cool background. And also, what I think that, there we go. That's what I'm looking for, my friend. My father was in the Army. Thank you for your service, James, by the way. This is amazing. So that's what I'm looking for. And I asked you in our message, remember the first thing I asked you when you messaged me and complimented you? I said, sir, were you in the military? And you said, yes, sir. And this is amazing. I want to make sure this is front and center. And I want to highlight what I'm so proud of knowing you about, which is your veteran, your service. Now, professional soldier. This is amazing. You were in the Army for a long time. Absolutely incredible. So I think this is incredible. And I think this could be featured up here in the About You. I didn't see that, but what I would also say, you might consider putting this up, and I think you should put it right here. Now, you tell me what I want you to decide, and everybody watching this, what are you comfortable with? This isn't Josh telling you what to do. This is you being your authentic self, telling a real story to other humans. And James, I know just 2% about you, that if you put that much on here about this, all these roles, serving our country, that this is probably a big part of your life. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. It's a big part.
I would encourage you, as your friend, I would encourage you to put this in your headline up here. Veteran Army, proud Army, veteran, whatever you feel comfortable there, whatever's the right term. Let people know, let people know that in your headline. Then you're not screaming about what you do, but what you've accomplished as well. Okay. If you're okay with that, I want everybody listening to this right now. If actually, there's somebody working at my organization right now who's former Air Force. Her husband flies an incredible, another version of a Black Hawk, I believe it is, that the Air Force uses. And like that, he's amazing. I'm all for veterans, in case you can't tell. So, I think these are things that we need to say. This is something that you believe in, that you accomplished, that just brings everybody together. So that's my 2 cents, because I had to ask you that. We might be able to put it in here. Like, hey, a rich part of my history is my 20 years or whatever that is, however long that is in the Army as a professional soldier, a project manager, a senior manager. And you can also write in that intro, James, what you learned. What did it teach you about you, right? Everybody's seen this. Back in the day, it was, I think of 20 years ago, Army Strong. And then there was, for many years, it was, I'm an army of one. I think for many years, which, and then it went on to other, they have all these promos, just like McDonald's. Every 5 years it changes. Did somebody say McDonald's? They used to say that. Let's set that aside, and let's set, I want you to write in your intro about, what did it mean to you? What did it teach you? Taught me how to work with a team. Taught me really how important it is to have checklists and systems, and how anything is possible, whatever that is. So I think this is really incredible. Does that sound good?
That sounds amazing. I never even thought about these things, but yeah, thank you.
Your Army thing. Now, this is my tiny way of giving back, is to help you for doing what you did for us. But I also think I'd love to see if you could put that down here too. We're gonna hit your education, but is there a way did you get any licenses and certifications in the Army during
I sure did.
Service? I want you to consider. You got it right here. Okay, great. 1985, fantastic. Equal Opportunity Diversity Training Certified. If there's any other ones in there, I want you to think about putting them in there as well, and showing people what you have. Okay, instructor training course, modeling simulations development course. KM Institute, put those in there. Okay. And then tie it to the real, if you can, tie it to the real U.S. Army, so it isn't this blank one. One of the things I want to talk to you about
Gotcha.
Make sure it has an image for the company / organization. Okay. And that image is something like, I had to work really hard to find the real Disney. Okay. And then if you create your own little business, I created Smart Social. And media leaders, I help big companies to kind of craft their brand online so they can shine online and have a good culture and stuff like that. But notice how much cooler that is. Now, is it the perfect logo in the world? No, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Okay. So that's one of the things. Now, let's dive into this just a little bit more. Let's go back up to your education. You've listed this out, Southern Nazarene University, amazing. A great experience and professors working together. Another thing you might be able to do here as well is, did you attend in person or did you attend virtually? That's Southern Nazarene University is known for this, this, and this, which is amazing. I attended to get my degree in organizational leadership and enjoyed interpersonal and took these courses. So just a couple ideas on, tell us about that school. Pikes Peak Community College, I believe that's in Colorado. I have some family members that live near Pikes Peak. Is that in Colorado?
I took the online course, but yep, Colorado.
Beautiful. So I took the online course, General Studies in Finance. Perfect. And then University of Maryland, Baltimore, fantastic. Once again, maybe a couple sentences right here. Fill it out. That's your opportunity to tell a little story about what you're doing. Next, we talked about the licenses and certification. Oh, you can actually see the credential here. That's awesome. We can click on that, a SharePoint link. We won't do that though, but that's amazing that you already linked to that. Volunteer experience, president of a neighborhood association, fantastic. Neighborhood watch group, awesome. Board member, neighborhood association, great. You might also tell more about this, just what you do. This is what it does. Toastmasters, fantastic. That's great. And then I might even also put, there's not many people that don't know what Toastmasters is, but Toastmasters is a worldwide organization that teaches people how to become better presenters at what they want to discuss or talk about, have more confidence about presenting in a way that is, whatever that is. Like find that and then tell that in one line. The club president is the chief, and then that's fantastic. So this is great. One more experience, group facilitator. This is looking great. Okay. How are we doing so far?
Awesome. Amazing.
Okay, terrific. I want to go back up. There's something I skipped on the checklist, everybody. And I want to talk about that in just a second. Let's go do it right now. All right. So one of the ways that I share with a lot of people my knowledge and my enthusiasm is through writing books. I've written a few books on Amazon. How do you put that online? Well, in your experience, you can actually link to things here. So I want to show you, I actually left one of my books out. Let's go refresh my page. Let's see if it has the +1. Let's go down here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go search for me on Amazon. We're going to add a book and I'm going to show you. I'm actually going to remove one of these real quick. Let's click on this and let's go down here and let's see if we can't delete this, James. We're going to edit this. I'm going to show you how to add my professional one over to the correct company. Oh, I just clicked the wrong thing, James. I think I just accidentally, okay, there we go. Edit and let's go save. Maybe it saves it. I may have just deleted everything. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I'm going to go fix that. That is hilarious, but it's okay because I have it saved in the video. So okay. I'm going to go rebuild it and do some beautiful stuff. But what I want you to do right here is click the edit button. That's hilarious. I hope everybody's giggling right now. What I want to do is I want to add a link. Now, remember, there's no perfect LinkedIn. So what I just did by clicking the wrong delete button, I can go add it, beautify it, and do all this great stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to my Amazon. So we're going to go to Amazon and we are going, don't move quickly, everybody. It's okay. I love doing this. It is wonderful when you lose something. You're like, how do I build it back? Pretty easy stuff to do. So we're going to go click on one of my books, Light, Bright, and Polite for Professionals. We're going to go click and I'm going to create a little link for this. Control C. Great. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm editing, building a great company culture that helps staff thrive online so the company can shine online. Don't click that delete button. Now, where is it based? Media Leaders helps organizations to build company cultures. Here's what we do and learn more and stuff like that. Now let's go down here to the link button, James, the link button. We're going to click on the link and we're going to paste a link in there. Okay. And we're going to click add. Now, when we click add, it is going to pop up with a book, and it's going to have an image and everything else. It's going to show 55. Now, not everybody here has a book, and that's totally fine. You could link to a YouTube video. You could link to something else, but it's going to have Light, Bright, and Polite for professionals. We're going to edit this just a little bit for professionals. And then I'm going to go take a little bit of that over here. And then what I'm going to do is see if I can't grab a little bit of this. Control C. Beautiful. Great. And I'm going to put a little bit of it in there, the description, right? We can talk more about here and so on. And let's say we perfected this and made it awesome. Apply. So now what we have, it'll just take, I exceeded the characters. So here's what we'll do about this book, learn why and how. And I'm just going to shorten this just a little bit. And it's got a lot of different Coldwell Banker, and it has a lot of quotes in there. So we'll remove this just a little bit and do that from there. Let's go ahead and apply. And I have 2 characters. I have to get rid of 2 little characters. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this one. Boom, help you shine online. All right, so we now have that. We click save, boom, building a great company culture that helps staff to thrive online so the company will shine online. And now you have little links down here. You can see all kinds of other little stuff. See how cool that is? People can click on. It's not the world's best because they're like, well, what's this? But they can rifle through now different stuff, different things. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at our checklist. We may, if we have time, go ahead and teach everybody how I can rebuild my whole thing. Join appropriate groups that help you network with others. Let's talk about groups. And in fact, I might do a separate video, James, teaching people how to build your experience step by step. There's always a reason for everything. So I think that'll be great in the next video. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and look at the groups that I've joined. Let's make sure we take a look at this. You can go down to, we've got the me section up here. We've got the home section. We've got my network. We've got jobs and messaging and notifications. And then there's all this section down over here where you can learn more about work and everything else. And I do believe that as a current veteran, or if you're currently in the military, you get an amazing discount on having a professional version of LinkedIn. The monthly fee is normally $40 to $60 or something like that. I think you get it for a massive discount. Check in with American Dream University to do that. Now, let's go back down over and just take a look at some of the things in the Me tab. So you got posts and accountability, you've got your company, we've got all these different companies and stuff like that. But what I want to do is I want to show you the next step. I want to show you how to edit the public profile and URL. Now let's take a look, everybody, really carefully up here on our checklist. Publicize your profile. I want you to make your URL a little bit more like this. You've got your linkedin.com, and then you've got the word in, and then you've got your name. Now, sometimes it'll say, when you have a brand new one, it's your name.345678910. It does this when you first sign up. What I want everybody to know is that it's much better to delete all this and to tell it to do Josh Ochs or whatever your name is. There's 3 reasons for this. Number 1, it's easier to share. Number 2, it looks more professional. And number 3, it's more SEO friendly. So what is SEO? SEO is when you search for yourself, Josh Ochs, LinkedIn. You want your name to be clearly described, James, on the page. You want all the information in the page to describe you. So not only the name of Josh Ochs, but in it, and you want the URL to be of the same keywords. The keywords are Josh Ochs. So if I search for Josh Ochs LinkedIn, you're going to get Josh Ochs right here. And when you click on that, whoa, it's easy to find. It's super easy, right? And look how clean this. It's missing my current job, which is hilarious. We'll go rebuild it. I'm going to make it better than ever. But look how the activity looks. And this is another reason why it's important to test this. What I just did, everybody who's watching this, I just did, you see these 3 little dots? Do you use Chrome, James?
Yes.
So Chrome and every browser has something called private browsing mode or incognito mode. Chrome, if you click on the 3 dots in the upper right, it has new incognito window. Now, for everybody watching this right now, incognito does not mean you can do weird stuff and hide from the FBI and be super shady. All that it does is it takes all of your cookies, which are a little bit of your identification on the web, and it hides them in this special browser, which it turns darker. Do you see how the rim is much darker than the light color? It makes it darker, going, yo, you're in incognito mode. See how incognito in the upper right, there's a little bit of a kind of a guy with sunglasses, glasses, and he's got a hat on. It's creating another type of look for him. Now it has hidden me, so I'm no longer logged in for a short while. It's suggesting another Josh Ochs, technology sales professional at another organization. Right, this is the other Josh Ochs I'm always competing with. Poor guy, I own everything under his name, but it's good for him. And I want you to look in incognito mode at all of the stuff that you've done, all the information that you've done here, right? So articles by Josh Ochs. I wrote some articles. Lasso app, is it safe? A TikTok parent course. And what that means is when you go to write a new post, rather than just sharing stuff, I created an article. And this is powerful. What's my activity? You can see what I've shared over the last couple of days. And then my experience, and then my volunteer work and stuff like that. If we keep going down, education, University of Southern California, publications, I guess, I was in a few things or whatever. And then I kind of speak some Spanglish. Go down to your groups. And this is what we want to talk about, James. All your group stuff is on here. Now, you want to join a few groups. I used to be in 50 groups, and I think the goal was to be in 50. I think you can max out at 50, and that could have changes from time to time. But I'm in digital marketing. I'm in linked to Denver. I wanted to go to Denver and meet a bunch of people before I went there, and all these different things. So be aware of the groups you're in. Make sure there's stuff you're proud of, because it'll list it on your front page. Another thing that I do, James, and this is a really interesting hack, is, and I call this, and we're going to write this out for everybody because I believe in doing things. And anybody who's watching this, go connect with me, leave me a message. And if you love this, James, here's something I want to show people how to do. I used to do a lot of speaking and a lot of boot camps. After I ran for city council in Hermosa Beach, California, against the incumbent mayor, who's a good friend of mine, I lost to him by 350 votes or so. And they said, how did you do that on a shoestring budget? I was a poor guy that had no money, and I was competing with people with a lot more money. How'd you get close to beating people well-known? Well, I would lead these boot camps, and at the end of the boot camp on a Saturday morning, they'd go, how can I ever repay you? Don't worry about it. Leave me a recommendation. So what I would tell them to do is to go down to these recommendations. You've received 18. Amazing. That's more than most people. I would ask them, click on the recommend Josh button. So they can then recommend me, and they can say, I worked, let's see, you're a client of James's, or James is a friend. We worked at other companies. You managed, you reported, you were senior. I worked with James, but at different groups, different companies. And then you can say, I worked with him when he was at this company, the most recent one, and then you can leave a recommendation. James taught me all this stuff. And that's a really nice thing. If you go help people, I'm going to call this getting recommendations, and I spelt that wrong. That's fine. We'll fix it here in a sec. Okay. Getting recommendations during the short window of appreciation. Now, I want you to know I call this the window of love, because when somebody is a raving fan of yours, it only lasts for 5 or 10 minutes. And then they're like, yeah, I got to move on. Netflix, the kids, paying the bills, everything else steals their time. So James, if anybody ever comes to you and goes, thank you for what you did, I go, hey, no worries. But would you mind saying that maybe I'm going to send you a link to my recommendations? Now, the reason for this is once they leave a recommendation, you can maybe put that on your website. Like, look at this. These are from a long time ago. And I don't, I haven't even read. I follow Josh on Twitter, and honestly paused every 90 seconds in his 16-minute technology buffer information. His buffer is a tool that we use for social media. As I repeated the steps, as adults, it's almost taboo to be openly enthusiastic. I wish there were more believers and dreamers in this industry. Me, enthusiastic? What? So there's 86 of these on there. There used to be like 99 over the years. They live and die and stuff like that. But it's a great place to go grab some of those recommendations. So that's something I want you to continue to work on. Only do it in that short window of appreciation. You don't ask somebody a week later, a month later, 6 years later. If they say something nice to you, to all of my veteran friends, that is a moment for you to go, thank you, that's really kind. Would you mind saying the exact same phrase or those words on my LinkedIn? And then what I want you to consider doing is right click on this. You see this link? Right click's our best friend here. To everybody watching this, copy that link address, send it to them. And when they open it and they're logged in, see how it's a long one? It's like recommendations and right. Let me see if I can get rid of this question mark and let's see if it works. I'm always testing things. So this is the LinkedIn. It's /in/James recommendation. And I think this will work. I'll copy that. Okay. And I'm going to put this in my checklist and watch this. Boom. You can send people this link and go, that is so kind of you. Now we're going to put that we're going to put this in there. Now, remember what we talked about earlier, James, we're going to, instead of having James, we're going to put your username, right? Its username is the Josh Ochs. Do you see the username right here? Do we all, I hope everybody's, I'm going to underline that here right now. Okay. But your username, and that's the username. That's why I want you to set up linkedin.com/in_James Wall. And your username, James Wall or whatever, is Josh Ochs right here. And then there's your link for everybody watching this. And if you want to go leave Josh one and say nice things, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can even say he deleted all of his current company and we'll go rebuild it and make it better, right? Nothing is, if it's not life-threatening, it's fine. We'll build it better than this isn't a big deal. It's actually really funny. I hope you guys bring that up. Okay. Now, we all make mistakes. James, how are we doing so far?
Awesome.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time today. Now, so we've talked a little bit about everything. Let's go take a look at yours. You have this, James W. Wall. Your middle initials W?
Yes.
Beautiful. You've already got that done. I love it. I love it. So what other questions do you have? We're not going anywhere yet, but you've got, oh, here, by the way, accomplishments. We've got all these different things. You're going to add, as much as you can from the Army there as well. Anything else? Do you speak German?
I do.
Oh, that is amazing. That is amazing. Really incredible. Okay. Interest, LinkedIn veterans, Jessica Alba, what an entrepreneur, right? Dell, all these different people. Know that your interests can show up publicly. Now I want to show you guys one more thing. Let's go over to, and I'm going to open this on another page. Okay, everybody, because I don't want my cell phone number leaking out there for everybody. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to open it up and I'm going to go to settings and privacy. So I don't think anything went there. Let me go do it again. Sometimes I leak my cell phone number for the whole internet to see. Oh, and look at that. You have it in Dutch. Did you go and write this in Dutch as well?
No, I just wrote it in German.
In German. Oh, I'm sorry. Deutsch. Yeah, sorry. In German. Fantastic. And there's an opportunity to do that here. So let's go take a look at my settings and privacy. This gives you an opportunity to show your visibility off. So profile viewing options, choose whether you're visible or viewing in private mode. I'm going to click here. How can people see me? Now I want you to make sure, everyone, that your profile is visible. Anonymous LinkedIn member, if they're like 2 or 3 people away from you, make it public if you feel comfortable with that. You have to feel comfortable. Okay. Visibility of your profile and network, your LinkedIn activity. I'm going to click on that and we can manage active status. You can choose who can see when you're on LinkedIn. Your connections only. You could add this to everyone, all members. It basically says they're online right now. I don't see a huge value in that, but I have that on in this case. Play with it, make it your own. Share profile updates with your network. You can click here. Should we notify your network when your profile is updated or upon work anniversaries? I put no. I think that's really neat. If you're in the Army a long time or you're with a big company for a long time, that's really cool. But I don't think that you might, if you make updates to adjust, I don't think you need to send that out to everybody. Make it the best for when people land on it. You may believe differently and that's totally fine, but I want you to know where this feature is. I turn that off because when I build out smartsocial.com and say that I started it in 2013 or when I started the firm, I don't need people to see that I relaunched that, all that stuff. I want to send them good content, not that I'm updating my bio. If I'm in the news, I really don't know how this notifies people because I'm in the news and it never notifies people. But I guess, yeah, I just leave that on. If you're mentioned, can people see that? I leave that on. Choose who can follow you and see your public updates. Once you hit a few thousand, choosing everyone lets people outside of your network follow your public updates. If you switch from everyone to your connections, You'll lose any of the out of network followers you have. Any changes you make will take 48 hours or 24. You can make your follow primary. If you're tired of getting connections and you have 10,000 or 20,000 connections or whatever, you can just have a follow button. That's for celebrities and stuff like that. Communications, receive LinkedIn via web. I want you to go through all this. Now I have one more little tiny trick for everybody here. James, do you ever get emails from people you think downloaded all their LinkedIn list and email you?
I do.
All right. I got a little trick for everybody here. And I'm going to go over to the other screen just to make sure I'm not giving it all away. Okay. Now, if you're getting a lot of bombarding emails from them, you can have conversations on enterprise products. I turned it off. Communications, jobs. I don't know that I need that. Network, groups, events, and anniversaries and birthdays. I should turn that off. I'm going to probably turn all this off. Company digest, events and follow-ups. I usually turn a lot of this off if it's exhausting. Notifications, suggested connections, updates and changes to your network. It's just a little much. I check in here a lot. I don't usually need that. Do I need the daily rundown? If I'm mentioned in the news, I'm going to turn that off for right now, everybody. You can leave it on. It's just, I only have so much time to the news, profile, endorsements and profile views. That's kind of cool to get from time to time, and safety and reporting. Now, one more thing that I did that's really interesting is when I go over to my sign in and security, you can change your email address. I have 14 email addresses in there. Now, why would I ever do that? Here's why. People saved you in their phone as, let's say, josh@disney.com back in the day, a long time ago. Well, when it says, hey, I want to log into your phone, which I don't love giving it access to everything, but people do that. Then I want them to be able to find the josh@disney.com from back. Oh, that's the Josh I used to work in so long ago. But let me show you a trick. And I got to go over to the other screen because it's going to give away all my email addresses. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share one email address that I set up as my primary down here. Okay. Now, I'm hiding a bunch of other stuff down here. But check this out. Emails that you've added, and you can add more. But I made a LinkedIn at mycompanyname.com. Now, why did I do that? That's my primary email that people can see on my Josh Ochs profile when you're a friend of mine. I've got 11,000 connections. James, you got 13,000. People will often download all their connections and put it into their MailChimp or their newsletter subscribers. Have you seen that, James, where they email you?
I have.
And they'll start emailing me like crazy. Hey, I'm now a realtor. I'm doing this. I got a new job. I'm going to update you on how my kids are growing up. I'm like, that's wonderful. But how did you get my email address? I don't reply with that anymore. What I did, James, is I made it LinkedIn at MediaLeaders.com. Josh, I've only got a Gmail address. Let me show you a little trick. I'm going to actually get out of this here real quick. And you can make your primary one the one that they see. What does that mean? And this is a big deal. We're going to go back over to my home screen. How would they see that? Well, let's go over to James. I don't want to give yours away, but let's go to here and let's go to the contact info. Look, they can see my email address. My primary is when I became a friend. I'm doing air quotes, a friend of James online. They can see my websites. They can see my email, my Twitters. And then if that's the one that it'll download, if they download all their connections, there is a way to go into settings and download your connections. What I want you to consider doing is make your email address something trackable. Okay, I'm going to share with you my personal Gmail address, everybody. Don't go run with it, okay? It's joshochs@gmail.com. I wouldn't email me there. You can email me at LinkedIn at MediaLeaders.com or connect with me on LinkedIn. But here's a trick in Gmail, and I know a lot of the people here have Gmails. If you go Josh Ochs plus LinkedIn at gmail.com, it still goes to the same place. If you add that little tiny plus, it tells Google, who owns Gmail, hey, Gmail, send this to Josh Ochs at Gmail, but this little plus is now a whole new email address. And what you do is you make that your primary. You'll still have your login here. You can log in as this, but that way, when people download their whole email list and you get an inbound of Josh Ochs plus LinkedIn contact, whatever you want here. It can be like up to 20 characters or something. Then when they download it in mass and they put it into their newsletter, you're like, oh, that's how okay, Steve, you're broadcasting to everybody, right? And that's one of the tricks, James, is to do is if you put that little tiny plus, this only works in Gmail or a Google Apps system, then you can figure that out. Does that sound good?
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that way you're tracking people. You don't have to have your own like website like me. You just Josh Ochs plus LinkedIn contact, and then you'll get all these emails from. In fact, I don't know if I can do this right now, but if I search for LinkedIn at medialeaders.com, my other company that I didn't delete. Hope you all are laughing with me. All these people are messaging me, and this comes through my thing, but oftentimes I'll unsubscribe for a lot of these, and I'll be able to track some of these. And sometimes there's a newsletter about that. So just know that's a way to do it. Add your first and last. You have more power than you know with the tools you already have. So we've covered a lot, James. Our simple little LinkedIn checklist: clear photo. You got an A, an A, an A. Header, image, headline. You wrote your about section. I want to see more about the Army and what it taught you and how great of a leader you are at promoting others and helping others and a team player. That's what we all want these days, right? Add features, posts with an image. You know about that. It's going to have some cool stuff. I want you to post once a week or something cool, right? Maybe do a video, maybe record a video. Everybody watching this right now, if you want to use Loom, I think it's loom.com, to record a video. Now, if you haven't used loom.com, it is an absolute amazing little system that lets you record a video of you teaching something, putting your face up there. It's a free tool. It's up to 5 minutes. You could teach something. That could be and you can download the video. It's all free. It's through your webcam. It's online. It works on PC and Mac. It's limited to 5 minutes. I think I pay them $15 a month, and it's limited to an hour after you pay them a little bit of money. But use the free one. And then when you post, always click that featured post if you're proud of it and you want to feature that. If you're looking for a job and you say, hey, does anyone know anybody in this industry? You might not feature that, but you might feature accomplishments or something. And then know that everything you touch and comment and like may show up in your activity area. Be light, bright, and polite. Just a shameless plug on my book that teaches kids how to be safe online. And then really work on that experience, everyone. I'm going to link to this below in the link and everything else. James, what questions do you have, sir?
Man, that was a lot of information, and that was a whirlwind. I tell you what, I didn't know most of what you talked about, and that was just incredible. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna run with everything you just said, and I'm gonna up my grade and my game on everything that you just talked about.
Well, you are terrific. I appreciate your service and everything you've done. So thank you to you and to everybody else who's watching this. If you're a veteran, if you're a spouse of a veteran, a small business owner, I'm your cheerleader. If I had pom-poms here, I'd be rooting for you. We want you to make sure that you're authentic when you're shining online. Tell that story. Tell us what you learned. Tell us first what the company does and be real with it. Be concise, right? Let's not. And one thing I want to talk to everybody about is don't use a ton of buzzwords. And one of the things about my digital safety company, which I just totally deleted on accident, is we don't use buzzwords. We don't say we are the digital citizenship leaders and award-winning, and that's neat. But we help students to be safe on social media so they can someday shine online. And we really hone that in. Talk to your spouse about your motto. Talk to trusted people that will give you real feedback. Don't talk to yes people that go, oh, that sounds great. Work with them on a whiteboard. As you can see back here, whiteboard is your best friend, and you can get a notebook, whatever, but really work on that and then print things out. Do it old school. I will often write things out on paper and go from there. We're here to help all of you. Go to American Dream University, American Dream U, and learn more about what they do. If they've sent you this, email them and tell them what you thought of this. We're here to volunteer and to help. Hey, James, thanks for your time today.
Hey, I appreciate you, Josh. Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you. And to everybody else, you can click the links below to learn more, to get that LinkedIn checklist. Reach out to us. Go connect with me on LinkedIn, Josh Ochs. I'll see all of you very soon. As always, remember to keep it light, bright, and polite because everybody's watching and we've only got one chance to make that first impression. And I want it to be your authentic self of who you are. We'll see all of you very soon. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
Thanks a lot.